Hey, Yetis, this is Nick and Jack from the Best One Yet podcast. Now, the last company we worked at, they used Paylocity and everything just worked. It wasn't until launching our own media business, this show, that we realized how rare that is.
Because Paylocity is one delicious burrito of operational needs. They roll up HR, finance, and IT seamlessly into one delicious bite.
When everything wraps together like that all at once, your workforce, your tech stack, your business, you don't need more tools. You don't even need cilantro.
You need one solution.
And that is why Paylocity built a single platform to connect HR, finance, and IT with AI-driven insights and automated workflows that simplify the complex and power what's next.
Or as we call it, a delicious operational burrito.
Yes, we do. Experience a one place for all your HCM needs, besties.
So start now at Paylocity.com/one.
Paylocity.com/ONE.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bull spend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had, impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Magic, the show where we venture into the heart of technology and innovation. I'm your host, Cathy Hackl, and we're here to break down the latest in technology news, everything from AI to new hardware to gaming to new devices, everything in between. Anyway, but every week I am joined by my amazing co-host, Lee Kebler. Lee, how you doing?
Okay, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
And the show goes live on Wednesday.
Yep.
So this is a time travel episode for me because by the time I listen to this, I'm going to listen to my voice and go, see, I told you there was nothing to worry about, or you optimistic idiot. We just don't know. So this is an interesting episode.
This will be an interesting episode because we're recording on Monday. The episode drops on Wednesday. Obviously,
and an election happens in between.
Election happens in between. A presidential election in the United States happens in between. So yeah, obviously, and we're not getting political in this episode. It's just we realize that by the time this episode hits, many things could have happened.
Yep.
So I will say, really interesting. The folks at Sawhorse and my friend Justin, not from Walmart, basically sent me a message that they created this thing called, I can't remember right now, but it was about voting. It was in Roblox. Let me try to pull that up. But basically, the whole reason they went ahead and created this was to bring attention to voting and Gen Z because the data was really interesting. Let me share this with you very quickly. So it's called the virtual vote, and it's in Roblox. And part of the data that they shared with me is, did you know that 16 million members of Gen Z can vote for the first time in a presidential election this year, but only 22% voted last cycle? Virtual vote meets Gen Z, where they spend their most time, averaging 78 hours per use per month in Roblox, more time than on the top 3 social media platforms combined. So yeah, Justin Hochberg, who did virtual vote with Sawhorse, regardless of how you're going to vote, and that's not what we're getting into, the idea is to drive voting and also to drive Gen Z to the polls and meet them where they are. If they're spending time in Roblox, fantastic idea to create virtual votes. So, kudos to them.
It's not really a new concept in the sense that I think my generation definitely grew up in the Rock the Vote era where they took it to MTV and they took it to cable television. And that was really considered quite a striking move towards how do you reach out to a demographic who's new to voting. And it's the same thing. It is meet them where they are mentality, which works. It has proven to work in the past, and hopefully we'll see a solid turnout of a whole new group of people who have the opportunity to vote for the first time. So it'll be an interesting, yes.
So kudos to the folks that worked on virtual vote to raise awareness on voting and everything, especially with Gen Z. So we'll probably have a lot to talk about next episode next Monday. But for now, let's see what happens. A lot can change in a day or two. So I do want to ask you, so you're back home. I see you're at your home studio. I'm back home after lots of travel. I'm happy to be back from Rome. Had a fantastic time. I'm taking a break from travel, though, for a couple weeks. So I'm super happy about that. Just ready to be home for a bit now that it's getting chilly and it's getting like sweater weather here. And like
it's sweater weather here too. Yep,
I know.
It's great. It's
I'm loving
fantastic.
it.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
I've got my big Dolly Parton mug of tea, so I'm good. I love this mug. For those who don't see the video clip, it's just like a huge mug with a Dolly Parton quote that says, "When I have something to say, I'll say it." And it's just right for me and this podcast.
You look like a grandma.
Hey,
you look like a but like a cute grandma. Like I like.
It's honestly just the biggest mug we have in the house.
It is. It's giant. It's got these flowers and like cursive. It really reminds me of my mom. So yeah, anyway, you look very grandma core. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I do want to start maybe with let's start with some news from Nintendo, because Nintendo's always top of mind for you. And this was funny.
Yeah, it is. It was funny. It was surprising. And I think it caught everyone off guard because not only did they announce it, but they announced and launched at the same time. So I definitely didn't see this coming. And this kind of hits for me because of my background in music and as a DJ and as someone who's actually made music for video games in the past. Nintendo Music is now an app that you can download on your phone. And so there was always this question as to why you couldn't listen to Nintendo soundtracks, which are wildly popular. Think like Breath of the Wild for like Legend of Zelda. That's a really popular soundtrack. Why you couldn't actually listen to that music on Spotify. And we all knew it was a licensing deal and it was Nintendo being Nintendo and they're really protective about their IP. What we didn't see coming, or at least I didn't see coming, was no, they're going to launch their own version basically of Spotify, but just of Nintendo music.
Just a Nintendo. I mean, amazing. Hey, for the people that really love that, it's great,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting. There's some really clever ideas wrapped into this. My favorite of which is you can choose a genre of game. So like say, I'm going to select Mario and it's going to play me just a random playlist of Mario themed music, but you can go in and select the games you haven't played for no spoilers, which I thought was absolutely brilliant and something brilliant. I wouldn't have thought of. But the fact that I can be like, oh, I haven't played this game in the Zelda series yet, so I'm going to say no spoils. Don't play this. I want to like go into this video game fresh, which is a big deal for gamers who listen to like the music in the background, the soundtracks. So it's not entirely robust. There's still a lot of music that I think's missing. They'll probably continue to add to it. But yeah, random announcement from Nintendo, and they launched it at the exact same time. Nintendo's just kind of shadow dropping left and right between this and like some crazy alarm clock that they did earlier. Video games coming left and right, and we're all still waiting on what's the Switch 2. It's like they're toying with us. As a Nintendo fan, it just definitely feels like, oh, we have a big announcement. We're like, oh, finally, here's the announcement. They're like, yeah, it's something you didn't expect or ask for. But for this, I was actually pretty excited.
It's so Nintendo. It's so on brand.
It is.
At this point, anyone listening to this podcast is like, yeah, it's on brand for Nintendo. Yep. So other really interesting gaming news, and I shared this on LinkedIn earlier today, from Mike Verdu. So Mike has been leading games at Netflix for the last couple years. He came from Facebook, VR and AR and gaming. I actually, long story short, a million years ago when I interviewed for a job with Meta, I interviewed with Mike. Fantastic guy, brilliant gaming XR VR visionary. So he went over to Netflix. He's been working with them on the gaming side. He has a new role inside Netflix. He is the new vice president of generative AI for games. So yeah, it's really interesting. It says here, he'll be focused on a creator-first vision for AI, one that puts creative talent at the center, with AI being a catalyst and an accelerant. AI will enable big game teams to move much faster and will also put an almost unimaginable collection of new capabilities in the hands of developers in smaller game teams.
Well, that makes sense. A lot of developers, if you talk to them right now, like people who are actively working, they do rely heavily on what would be considered generative AI. Not in the sense of it's making the game, but it's writing a lot of the code. And then, of course, you go back and you check it and you make sure that, yeah, it'll function, but we'll do everything you really want it to do. But it has been an incredibly robust tool to get smaller teams moving faster, which is great. I see that it's really good for the indie field. It could be a catalyst to further increase the problems with like large publishers that are going through a lot of like game layoffs. That could be a negative, but in those particular cases, that is just going to eat away at the larger development and still add to the talent pool for the indie development area, which I think is doing really well right now.
My question here, so I'll read a couple more things that he mentioned in his LinkedIn post. Said generative AI is the next challenge. I don't think I've been this excited about an opportunity in this industry since the 90s. I can't believe how lucky I am to be alive when a wave this big is about to hit the game industry. So he talks a lot about what are some of the things that he'll be doing, really exciting. My question to you is, when you think about this role and what I read earlier, is it that Netflix is moving more into a social kind of platform of some sort where they might bring in developers to create experiences in games, maybe not based on IP, maybe inspired on IP? I don't know. Like, how do you read into this? I mean, it's a great role. And Mike, congratulations to everyone at Netflix and congratulations to Mike on this new role. How do you read into this?
I don't know per se. I mean, I have noticed recently that like when you stop watching Netflix and it goes to its screensaver and just like cycles through content, I've started seeing stuff for Netflix games, which are presented as mobile games you can go download on your smartphone. They're not things that are like running in the Netflix app on your smart TV. So there's a step there. And I think this is Stranger Things, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Stranger Things has always had some type of mobile game or video game in the past that has been lukewarm reception, mostly because it wasn't properly placed. Some of them have been really good, but I do think that's a situation where Netflix has been licensing out that intellectual property so that games can be created. And now they're looking at it going, well, does anyone really know this IP better than we do? Which I would argue the answer is no. Can they utilize that to make a good Stranger Things game? We'll see. But I do think that's where it starts when you start looking at a lot of their intellectual property. Another good one is like Cobra Kai, which started as a YouTube property and now somehow found its way to Netflix. Once it found its way and found a home on Netflix, they've had games launch on every console. You can get the Cobra Kai video game based on the Netflix series on the Nintendo Switch. So I think that they've noticed maybe an area where, we should be more actively developing in these things. Yeah. The question is if they can actually do it, because we've seen large media conglomerate companies try to do this in the past. And they've always failed. Like, I mean, just like on the face of it, the only time that I saw it run really well was probably Disney when they did their series of like RPG games with Square Enix, but they relied on a publisher that knew what they were doing while retaining their IP. Netflix doesn't have a history in this. I don't know if they can do it or not.
I have full faith in Mike. Like, I really do believe in this man as a visionary in gaming. And as much as I do not necessarily like the Love is Blind mobile gaming experience. That's so sad that I've actually played that. But yes.
Wait, is that a game? Are you being for real? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes, there is. There is a Love is Blind game for anyone interested out there. But yeah, lowbrow entertainment. I do have a problem here with Love is Blind and The Bachelor, but that's for another different episode.
That's for a different podcast, Cathy.
Different podcast. Lowbrow entertainment that I sink my teeth into every once in a while. But I do believe Mike can pull something off. Like, I want to see how this comes, how it develops. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm still bullish on how Netflix leverages all their IP, takes it into gaming, maybe brings it into some level of social. So let's see.
I'll hold my breath on it, but I don't think I'm as bullish, and it doesn't have anything to do with the person, right? The reason why Netflix has survived so well so long is because all of their competition that decided they wanted to get into like the streaming service are all companies that shouldn't have gotten into this, right? So knowing your lane and knowing what you do. So this is definitely a break from that lane. And if their answer is cloud computing, if it's cloud gaming, it'll fail. The technology into homes isn't there. We've seen large gaming companies try to do this, and I can't fathom that not being a conversation happening in the background at Netflix. And there's really just not a practical solution for cloud gaming yet. So if that is their solution, which currently is not, you can download their games. But if that is their solution, we're still like 5+ years from that being practical.
I doubt it's cloud gaming. But we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see what they pull off. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I want to move on to more AI-related news as well. AI at the movies. Huh?
Must we?
Must we? We have to.
I know.
Our audience expects it from us, Lee. We must talk AI. Because that's what everyone wants to talk about all the time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's like everywhere. Oh my gosh. Sometimes it's a little too much. But yeah. So the Lord of the Rings fans are praising
I do love
the
this article,
decision.
by the way.
Yes.
I'm so hyped about this.
This was interesting, and we shared it in our little internal Slack. The Lord of the Rings fans praised the decision to bring back the Sea Star without using AI. Lord of the Rings fans have praised the decision to bring back Christopher Lee as Sarum. How do you pronounce it? Sarum?
Sermon.
I have trouble with this word. By using archive footage rather than artificial intelligence, they've been reassured that Lee's legacy as the character would not be tainted by the use of AI, but they will instead be using archival footage. So one of the questions that comes up during thinking about this article and bringing Christopher Lee back to Lord of the Rings is using AI a way of tainting characters in movies? Because it's being used in a lot of different movies. And that's going to lead me to another one of our news articles, one of AI in Hollywood. But thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? I mean, I like Lord of the Rings, but I don't think I'm as passionate as some of the fans here on what it means to bring him back.
I'm not a very passionate Lord of the Rings fan either. Mm-hmm. And here's what I think this says. I'm actually more interested to see this now, knowing that they're not going to take the easy way out and just AI generate the character. And then I'm noticing this across the board, that when AI is being used in a way where it is either touted, celebrated, or just obvious, interest has waned. People don't really want to see. And this is a complete divergence from what we're saying, but like I've really noticed this going back to the ghost town that is now Facebook, right? Like there's just so much bad AI content on Facebook that's being created by bots that Facebook will absolutely convince you of dead internet theory right now. It's such a weird ghost town of a platform where it's just bots blatantly talking to each other. And I think that people are already starting to catch on and be like, I don't actually want to see stuff being heralded about like, oh, this is AI generated content. At some point, it loses, I feel like, that value.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I always go back in my mind to little Michaela, right? Which everyone listening to here probably knows who she is, but virtual influencer. Like her novelty was really cool and the idea and the concept of the virtual influencer. But as we get more and more of those virtual influencers and the market gets saturated, way too saturated now because everyone could be a virtual influencer, then the novelty wears off. I mean, obviously she's got an audience and everything, but then what's the big novelty here? So that's a good point. Like, are we eventually going to care so much that we don't want it to be virtual or eventually get desensitized where it's just all going to be a virtual representation of the artist?
Don't get me wrong. I think that there's very strong value adds to utilizing AI. It just has to be in a way where it highlights what the person themselves is doing, not the other way around.
Not the other way around, yeah.
I think we're starting to already see the cracks reveal in that concept because when companies, people who are in charge of profit and loss statements could realize how much money they could save on utilizing AI over people, yes, that's a natural progression. And then finding out that everyone's talking about it, so it must be this really popular thing. Well, no, it's a lot of people who are excited to learn about new technology, but I can only watch like so many things or like see so many advertisements that are just blatantly AI generated content, and you can tell. So it's one of those things where I think AI has to be this highlighted thing. I'm not saying get it out of development or even get it out of the creative pipeline. I'm simply looking at it going, it can't be the pipeline.
It can't be the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, and I always say this, I feel like there's always room for the Maserati and the Kia. Yeah. Like, so depending on what you're working on, if your budget is more of a Kia budget, then you probably have to add a lot more AI into your pipeline.
Yeah.
If you're the Maserati budget, you probably have more of a chance to really work on more artisanal, let's call it that, more human.
Yeah.
So this article from Lord of the Rings really took us down this rabbit hole of another article that came out. Really interesting. This is stemming actually from Kara Swisher's podcast. She interviewed Robert Downey Jr. about his new play on Broadway called McNeil. It's about AI. I actually have tickets to go see it next week in New York. Really excited to go do that. But during the interview, they talk about AI, of course. And he said he refuses to let Hollywood create his AI digital replica, saying in the actual podcast interview, I intend to sue all future executives who recreate my likeness using AI. So very interesting. I mean, this is coming from Iron Man himself, Tony Stark. It was a character he plays, of course, but interesting.
Yeah. It should be up to the person, right? I also celebrated when James Earl Jones said, no, I'm going to actually pen a deal so that my voice can be recreated via AI so that my characters can live on after I'm gone. Because that gives a really great opportunity for his estate, his children, his grandchildren, you know what I mean? To be able to have a source of continual income based on something amazing that he did. But it's also fully under Robert Downey Jr.'s rights to say, screw y'all, you cannot just replace me with a machine no matter what. I will come after you. Hey, great. You have the right to do that.
Well, in an interview, even Kara tells him, well, you might be long gone. He said, but my lawyers will still be around.
That's right. People don't understand like how much harder things get around intellectual property after the artist is gone, right?
Oh
like,
my gosh. You guys have stories. You and ADM have probably lots of
yes,
stories.
as soon as estates take over, the lawyers take over. Prior to that, the person themselves can make the decision of what to do. After they're gone, the lawyers start making decisions, and it will always fall to the bottom line of what's legal, what's not legal, and what makes the most money. Like, that's just how it goes. So yeah, go ahead. Rock and roll, Robert. Like,
Go
that's
ahead,
great.
Robert Downey Jr. And I'll report back on the play as well. It's gotten great reviews, very interesting perspective. So we'll see.
Now,
it's called McNeil. It's in Broadway right now.
Speaking of this, since we're going to go down this AI rabbit hole, we do need to talk about Disney because they've established a group.
Can I introduce this one?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Because this one is near and dear to my heart. I was so thrilled, Lee, when I saw this. So Disney has established a group to oversee AI, mixed reality adoption in a responsible way across the company. They have created the Office of Technology Enablement, led by Jamie Voris. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry, Jamie. Who will oversee adoption of AI, mixed reality in a responsible way. He used to be previously the CTO of Walt Disney Studios. And this new office is intended to ensure Disney is a progressive, innovative, and responsible leader in AI and mixed reality. It by no means intends to be a reviewer of all the projects that anyone across Disney is working on related to AI. Two things here that jumped out me. The fact that it's not just AI, that they understand that there's mixed reality, spatial computing, this other component, thank you, Disney, that is equally as important when we talk about the future of computing, the future of how we as humans will interact with technology, not just AI. AI is part of it and is part of this new computing frontier. But I think they understand, they see the longer vision, right? So I actually applaud this. I actually think this is a very smart thing for Disney to do. Thoughts?
I want to believe. That's really.
I want to believe.
It is a tricky thing when you see the touting from a large company of, we're doing this to focus on making sure we do this responsibly. As soon as I hear that, that just sounds like HR jargon that I'm just like, I don't believe you. I want to believe. I really do. But at the end of the day, do I believe that it is in a large company's goal to do it responsibly or to do it for the best result of the bottom line for the shareholder? Those are two very different questions. So I'm going to stay on the positive side. I'm not going to be the wet blanket here and applaud them for making the right statement. And I expect to see proper follow through. That's all there is to
That's all you're going to say. I love it. Okay, let me see. Because, I mean, in the article in Variety, Reuters actually is who broke the story first. But yeah, they say the pace and scope of advances in AI and XR, extended reality, are profound and will continue to impact the consumer experiences. I appreciate the fact that it's not just AI. They're taking into consideration next-gen technology. Yeah. So
and that probably has to do with a lot with their like intellectual property. People have to take a step back and realize like Star Wars has been in the Oculus Quest since the first edition, right?
Yeah.
Like, so Star Wars has definitely been an intellectual property that has been in the VR, AR space. I know that there's a lot of desire to get more Marvel in there as well. This also goes back in counteracts the Robert Downey Jr. conversation because there's no chance in the world he's not talking directly to Disney when he makes these statements because that's
Marvel,
who he,
I mean, he's Tony Stark.
Right. So you think...
I mean, he died, but anyway... I mean, Iron Man died, right? Sorry, spoilers. I don't know if anyone's watching the movies, but anyway.
All things are possible. The characters come back. But at the end of the day, like, he's obviously talking directly to Marvel, which is owned by Disney. So I'm reading these two very interesting articles back to back going, oh, we're going to do this responsibly. And Tony Stark's over here saying, I'll believe you and I will sue you if you don't. So...
Interesting juxtaposition.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest. I'm like, ooh, Disney, yay, mixed reality. Anyway, let's go on to another segment. More gaming news. Okay, the gaming industry is set to make a comeback in 2025.
Oh, I believe that.
Okay, DFC Intelligence has released a preview of its 2024 market report, and it predicts gaming will grow again after a disastrous year. It has been a rough year. Like, I don't think anyone can debate that it's been a hard year for the gaming industry. It is set to make a comeback in 2025. At least I hope they're right.
No, it's been a disastrous year for a lot of people who made bad bets who should have never been in the industry, maybe to begin with. We saw a lot of large publishers sink billions with a B into single title games that just bombed because there wasn't market research. It wasn't actually what gamers wanted. They took good concepts that gamers were excited about, and then they shoved it full of microtransactions. It's a bunch of crap. And then wondered, hey, where did all of our players go? Now we have to lay off our entire staff. Or quite the opposite, we're going to release this game, we're going to work our staff into the ground, and then as soon as it releases, we're going to lay everyone off instead of going on to another game. Neither of which are sustainable. And frankly, like, boo-hoo, you're not really going to get a whole lot of sympathy on my side of the fence here. But it's been a good year for like indie games. And I think we're going to continue to see those
indie games.
Yeah, we're going to see those indie title games maybe turn into full-fledged studios. And then once they're full-fledged studios, those studios can grow until they start making bad decisions. This is the circle of gaming.
Great decisions, hopefully. Let's be positive here. Good cop, bad cop. Anyway, talking about interesting decisions, this is from our friend Matthew Ball, who posted this on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Roblox is at nearly 7 billion hours of monthly engagement. Yeah. So, I mean, that's more than Netflix, I guess, and Disney estimated.
It's more than Disney. It's about half of what Netflix did.
Half of what Netflix. So
that checks.
That checks. I think for us that track this, right? For other people, it would be surprising. But according to him, growth has quickened since the pandemic and did not slowed, let alone reversed. So I think for me, great signs that the gaming industry continues to be vibrant, continues to come back in full force. I think 2025, and we have some episodes coming up with predictions, but I do think gaming is going to come back in full force. In 2025, it's going to be one place where a lot more brands are going to double down and make more of longer-term investments and longer-term bets. And this is why I'm saying this. So Gen Alpha is starting to turn 15, right? They're starting to get a little bit more money. And starting next year, 2025, believe it or not, Gen Beta starts being born.
Is that the next one?
Can you believe that?
No.
Gen Alpha is end of 2024. 2025, my friends, Gen Beta starts being born.
I still hear people complain about millennials. Like, I still get complaints about being a millennial.
Millennials are so passe. Oh my gosh. Who's trying to cater to millennials? But yeah, Gen Beta is coming right on the heels. So to me, demographics, new markets, gaming is massive. It's huge, will continue to be huge. If you're not paying attention to it, obviously you're not listening to our podcast. But if you are, like, gaming is hot and will continue to be a very important part of technology and marketing.
A lot of conferences happening right now. We're wrapping up conference season and then it'll kick back again in January because there's a conference for everything. But a lot of music conferences happen in the fall. And the big growing trend from all of it is, where does gaming land for a lot of this? Because it's been such a big question mark for a long time. So from all of the whispers and talks and conversations that I have on a daily basis, gaming expectations for 2025 are through the roof.
Yeah. And I also, I'm talking to several events that are focused on creator economy, and they want to talk gaming, or big tech conferences are reaching out to me also talking about, let's talk about gaming. I want to talk about Gen Alpha. I want to talk about this kind of creator generation. It's a term that my friend Zoe's came and uses quite a bit, but really thinking through gaming, not just as a one-off or a nice PR pop, but really as a longer-term vision and strategy on how they reach audiences where they are. So that's really interesting. Let's move on to another segment that I want to talk about. This segment, our producer Lily wrote, People Love XR Hardware. So first one, I'm a huge Oprah fan, always have been. Oprah is now obsessed with Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. She's absolutely correct in my perspective. She included it in Oprah's favorite things of 2024, which if you follow her list every year, it's a big deal. If you're in that list, Oprah gave you her blessing. This is huge and massive. Congratulations to the Meta team. And Oprah, I think you're right. I love my Meta glasses. I took them on Safari. Best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah, I don't have an argument on this. I haven't really thought about Oprah's list of favorite things since I bought a BlackBerry. That was a list that I remember she was still on TV at this point, and it was at the height of the Oprah craze, and she had the BlackBerry on her Christmas list thing. That actually pushed me to go get it, because once I saw, I went and watched that. I don't know how I ended up watching that episode. I was just like, oh, this is amazing, because the concept of the smartphone was so foreign to me at the time. But then when I saw that, I went out and got that BlackBerry. So I agree. And it is interesting from a hardware perspective of something I think that is more obtainable to everyone as opposed to a full VR headset or something like that. So it'll probably push a few units. Plus, it's Ray-Ban.
They look cool. I mean, Oprah's giving their blessing. I will mention one of Oprah's past favorite things was this like brownie mold that had corners. I don't know if you remember it. It was my favorite thing ever.
Was it the one where like you could only make brownies that had like the edges?
Yeah, that had corners. The edges is my favorite thing ever because I love the edges. I was like, that is the best thing, Oprah. But anyway, this is my second favorite thing that she's included in her favorite list. Hardware. I mean, they're all hardware, right? Brownie hardware, but this is more Meta's Ray-Ban sunglasses. So yeah, anyway, Oprah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think you're absolutely correct with this choice. And that also, you send me a link to one of the biggest technology reviewers, YouTubers out there reviewing the Orion glasses versus the Snap AR spectacles.
Yeah, Marcus Brownlee finally did a video review, which I do love his YouTube channel. I find it very interesting. And he did the only, as far as I could find, true side-by-side comparison of the Meta Orions and the AR spectacles from Snap and gave a genuinely honest review. I'm not going to spoil it for people. It's not my content and it's not my review because I have not used them. So jump on YouTube, check out his channel, and you'll easily find it. But at the end of the day, he gave really good pros and cons for both that I hadn't really thought about. Most of it being the Orion is just not obtainable. Not that it's not practical, it's just not obtainable. This is very much a thing that you can see them working on, but we don't know what their timeline really looks like. Comparative to the AR spectacles by Snap exist now and are obtainable and reasonably priced for getting hands on like a developer kit. They're vastly different products, even though they're doing close to the same thing. But the thing that he does call out, and this will be the only spoiler that I could give out, that surprised me was he said that the visual quality of the Snap spectacles was significantly higher. The Orion had a bigger field of view, but the spectacles looked clearer where there was actual AR overlay.
But the spectacles are not bending light. Like, that's my big thing.
Yeah,
technologically, I mean, these are very different. Like, this is to me like Maserati and not Kia, maybe, Maserati and like
Lamborghini. They're just two different ways of doing something.
I would say Maserati and like Jeep Cherokee, but okay.
Well, I'll tell you what really did get me, and I've seen this before, and I thought that it was really slick. I didn't realize this was in the Snap spectacles. They have that like electric security glass that you can actually darken. So it shoots electricity into the glass itself. It's like the security glass you see at really fancy office buildings and things like that, that can darken the lens so that those colors pop more. And I honestly think that's a really clever inclusion. And if they could adopt that into the Orion glasses, it's a game over because being able to do that really does heighten the visual content as opposed to dealing with like these pass-throughs. So we'll see.
Amazing. So now we're going to go to our break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about wearables that we can expect in 2025 and also Dispatch from the Fringe with Lily. So let's go on break.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This message is brought to you by Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. And this is more than an ad. This is an invitation to be part of the stories the world can't stop watching, to connect with moments that dominate the conversation, to participate in culture, not just advertise around it. With the most sought-after IP, passionate audiences, and an advanced AI-powered foundation, WBD Advertising transforms attention into influence and impressions into outcomes. This is innovation. This is impact. This is opportunity. This is Warner Brothers Discovery Advertising. Visit advertising.wbd.com to learn more.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
All right. So, wearables in 2025. I mean, we've talked about wearables a lot this year, a lot more coming next year. This is not slowing down, like you and I have mentioned. All these new form factors, all these new wearables, or these new peripherals are coming. Samsung has confirmed its Apple Vision Pro and Meta Quest 3 rival that's coming in 2025. It will be releasing the device next year. Hopefully, it hopes to improve connectivity among products, including upcoming XR devices. Yeah, I mean, Samsung is getting in the game. We knew that was going to happen. We knew it kind of was going to happen. So
let's give history its due. Samsung really created the game in many ways. Samsung was the first to get into that mobile VR before the Go.
With the phone.
Yes.
I remember. That was the worst. I remember having to set up like 10 or 15
gear.
of those headsets.
Yes.
3. Yeah. Oh God.
Now, it was the future in 2016.
It was the future, but you had to use the phones and load them on the device. Oh my gosh. I remember giving demos with that.
So it's not that they're getting into the game, they're getting back into the game.
And they had the little camera, the 360 cameras as well. I had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I had forgotten about them. Forget those things, but they've been here. And it'll be interesting to see how they interact in the space, given like Samsung Gear got involved because of Oculus and stuck around for quite a while with Meta. It'll be interesting to see how that all pans out and works. I'm excited to see them come in and maybe fill a void that is now there, now that Windows mixed reality, which was their VR headset under really horrible branding, that just never made any sense. But now that's done, there is this void of like, well, there should be a third person out there doing this. So I'm hopeful, but Samsung makes the most amazing hardware. I think they have some of the best hardware on the planet. And I honestly mean that. They make great hardware. And then they shove the absolute most bloated software into it that make such a horrible user experience. That's just the truth.
That's why you have a Google Pixel.
It really is. Hardware spec. The Samsung phones are better.
Cameras. Yeah.
They really do. But my TV, beautiful image. I love my Samsung 4K television. I fight with that internal smart operating system every day and just am cussing it out while I'm trying to get it to do simple tasks. So this very well could be a litmus test of if they can build an operating system or a user interface for VR, because the second you start lagging problems in VR, the users will not do it.
Oh, forget it. You've lost the experience. The experience goes out the window. You break that immersion. No, I agree with you on that. So we'll see. But Samsung's getting in the game, as we knew it was going to happen. Then lots of news on Vision Pro, lots of news that they was going to be discontinued. I mean, I don't know. Lots of stuff. But then there are rumors that their M5 chip is rumored for 2025 and that Apple is considering an iPhone connected glasses to compete with like Meta. So yeah, I mean, I don't think the Vision Pro is dead per se. Like, come on, people.
It's up to Apple.
It's up to Apple. You're right. It's not up to us. So
I am still absolutely befuddled by some of the decisions they continue to make with this hardware, because it's not like we don't have 10 years of user testing and experience on devices like this that they can pull from. They don't even have to do their own user testing. Just look at a decade worth of development that other people have done and then use that to make a good product. I don't get the disconnect. I was having this conversation with somebody who has an Apple Vision Pro, and they said something I thought was really profound. And they said, this feels like a really good product that has completely been bogged down by C-suite ideas.
Woof.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let that sit.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. I think if it would have been done differently, once again, this is developers, you can't, like if it would have been done differently, we have a lot of opinions. I still think it's great hardware. What it does is amazing.
Hardware spec
Am I
for
using
spec.
it right now? No, not really.
The hardware is strong. It's the strongest hardware in a standalone that's ever been built. And you throw an M5 chip into this thing and you have a desktop on your face. But that will only get you so far until you make a more usable SDK, a better system to get developers. Because at the end of the day, you got a chicken and egg problem where, yep, the hardware is there. It technically has a store that you can deliver to, But there's a reason why all of this stuff is basically flat recreated content on the store. And that's because they've done little to no effort to getting new people to develop into the system. And the barrier to develop into that system is so high. So high.
Having done that, having experienced it, having tried hard. Whew, goodness gracious. Yeah.
And that's what makes it different from the iPhone.
Yeah.
The iPhone was not a high barrier to entry device to get into. And as a developer, this is painful. So if they can take a step back and make it simpler, all courses can be corrected on this. It's just a question of, does an M5 chip matter if it falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it?
No one's around to.
Well,
I do feel like they feel the heat. They've got to compete with Meta on the AR glasses side. So we'll see. They're obviously going to release something in the future. We'll have to see.
I think the M5 is there because right now in the current iteration on an M2 chip, they can't put their Apple Intelligence into the headset.
They need these amazing chips, of course. No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that. I will say, talking about Apple Vision Pro and spatial computing, so the Harvard Business Review, which I write articles at the Harvard Business Review, is one of the biggest things I've accomplished in my career, to be honest. Super proud of it. But I wrote an article for them on Apple Vision Pro and early adopters and how they were viewing the technology. And every year, the Harvard Business Review puts out the Year in Tech. So the Year in Tech 2025. It includes articles from Amy Webb and a whole bunch of really amazing people, and includes my article. I am included in this year's Harvard Business Reviews. Yeah, I know. I'm super proud. I am super proud that I'm included in this year. So yeah, check it out, guys. And it's focused on spatial computing as a technology that further changes how humans engage with technology. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how the future of computing and a human-computer interaction changes and becomes more important in 2025. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on that. Also want to talk about AR, VR, Reality Labs. Meta had a fantastic earnings call, great week for the company when they did their earnings call, but their Reality Labs, which you and I are big fans of, their division has recorded further losses of $4.4 billion. As to be expected, of course, this is a really early moment for the technology. They do mention several...
always...
Yeah. It's an R&D department. That's how people need to view it, right? Yeah. Several milestones around Reality Labs and the integration of AI and wearables have been achieved. So we definitely know that. And their CFO, Susan Lee, that said, I'd say Reality Labs is clearly one of our strategic long-term priorities, and we expect it will be an area of significant investment as we build out towards the very ambitious product roadmap that we have there. So once again, Meta's AR hardware era, Reality Labs is not going anywhere, people. So buckle your seatbelts because this will continue to be a big part of their future.
I would be concerned if it weren't, because it is their research and development department. And if they're not doing research and development, then the company is in trouble. That's really what it boils down to. Any tech company has to have this, and they happen to have one of the biggest, and it is one of the most funded. And yes, it looks concerning on paper, but at the end of the day, that's just the way it falls. I will say, I hope that if they are as bullish on the Reality Labs as a continual growth and as a staple of the company, they do need to, I would hope I would see a back off on some of the layoffs, because that has been an area where a lot of the layoffs have happened.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you start losing a lot of the internal know-how, right? You start losing a lot of insight, even if you have to go in, okay, we're going to rehire a bunch of new staff because we decided to move it over in this direction. You end up with a lot of knowledge base loss in that. Yeah. They're smarter than I am, so I'm sure they've got that figured out. But it is one of those things where it's in the back of my head as I watch these things happen.
That's a great point. All right, let's go to Dispatch now. So you know how we had Oprah's favorite things? We have Lily's list of tech gadgets to get your friends or yourself this holiday season. So Lily, take it away.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Yetis, this is Nick and Jack from the Best One Yet podcast. Now, the last company we worked at, they used Paylocity and everything just worked. It wasn't until launching our own media business, this show, that we realized how rare that is.
Because Paylocity is one delicious burrito of operational needs. They roll up HR, finance, and IT seamlessly into one delicious bite.
When everything wraps together like that all at once, your workforce, your tech stack, your business, you don't need more tools. You don't even need cilantro.
You need one solution.
And that is why Paylocity built a single platform to connect HR, finance, and IT with AI-driven insights and automated workflows that simplify the complex and power what's next.
Or as we call it, a delicious operational burrito.
Yes, we do. Experience a one place for all your HCM needs, besties.
So start now at Paylocity.com/one.
Paylocity.com/ONE.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello, Cathy and Lee. Welcome to this week's Dispatch from the Fringe. This week, I am inspired by the story of Oprah's favorite things list, the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses being on them. So I thought, what other weird tech devices can I find to put on your holiday shopping list? So I have 2 that you can get today and 3 that you might have to save for the future. The first one is called the Nimble. It's a nail pedicure device that uses 2D and 3D scanning technology and advanced AI to learn the exact size, shape, and curve of your nails. So it has a smart robotic arm in the box that precisely applies 2 to 4 coats of polish for a rich and effortless manicure. And that is available at nimblebeauty.com. The other kind of fun device that's actually something I would use is a self-cleaning water bottle. So water bottles are actually one of the most difficult things to thoroughly clean because it's hard to find a brush that can get all the way into the bottom of the bottle, and dishwashers don't actually clean them. So this water bottle by Lark, L-A-R-Q, uses UVC light to seamlessly sanitize the bottle's interior and the water inside of it, and it takes only a minute. And that's available on Amazon. Now, some gadgets to keep an eye on for the future is 1, LG's self-driving AI home hub. It's a weird name for what's actually kind of cute little robot. It's a 2-wheeled robot that has cameras inside of it that can read bedtime stories to your kids, control the lights, and even patrol your home. And I'm sure it will be able to connect to all of your other LG devices in your house. LG also has something called a PureCare. It's not available for market yet, but it's an air purifier that's topped with a heated seat for your cat. So if you are a cat lover, if you have cats that like to be high up to survey the land and enjoy a heated seat, keep an eye on the LG PureCare. And finally, we have vacuum robots. I know they've been around for a while. I enjoy my vacuum robot. But one of the downsides to them is they can't navigate stairs and ledges, except for the Dream, D-R-E-A-M-E robot vacuum. This vacuum has a tiny leg that lets it handle steps of around 1.5 to 2 inches. So that is this week's Dispatch from the Fringe. Keep an eye out on these devices for the future and let me know how you've upgraded your home or your smart life with your favorite tech gadget. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, amazing. I want a Dream robot vacuum. I want the robot to do everything. I want it to fold my laundry, do my dishes, sign up my kids for summer camp. So bring it on.
I'm a little more concerned about the wheeled robot with cameras inside that read bedtime stories to your kids, control lights, patrol your home. Like,
that's coming though. Everyone's getting into this space. Everyone's trying to, once again, they want to own the large vision models in the world AI model that's being created. But anyway, we should be concerned. But anyway, that's for a different episode. That's for our predictions 2025 and beyond episode that's coming. Anyway, but Lee, you are in charge of closing us out, and we have some fun new things that we're doing.
Yeah, before we go, I wanted to leave with a music recommendation. I started really going through my album collection, and I started thinking like, oh, this is music that I don't think a lot of people know about. And it's away from that generative playlist, which I think a lot of my friends are starting to complain, like their playlists are all just getting redundant. I'm like, well, that's because people need to start suggesting music or suggesting entertainment or books or whatever. And I was like, well, my background is in music. I should start talking about some of the stuff that I'm listening to. So I like to still dig through record crates and go to record stores and find stuff that speaks to me personally. And I've been revisiting big band Bossa Nova from 1962. This happens to be from the legendary Quincy Jones, who sadly did pass away this weekend. It's best known for its title piece, which is Soul Bossa Nova, famously the theme song for Austin Powers from 1997. Yeah, that. But this is a 1962 album. It is full of treasures, start to finish. The algorithm's not going to tell you to check this out, so I will. And it's what's been playing in my house while I'm making coffee this week. So, yeah, it's my little offline analog.
Grandma cup.
It's my analog suggestion.
I love that. I love that. So I want to add my 2 cents. So you are the ears of the podcast, right?
You're the eyes.
I'm the eyes. So I'll tell you what I'm reading right now is my friend Brian Solis has launched a book called Mind Shift. It's focused on AI and technology. It's already a USA Today bestseller. So check it out. Brian is a fantastic author, very bullish on anything he's writing. It's got some great information in there. One thing I am listening to, which I am very excited about, is a couple months ago, America's Test Kitchen reached out to me for their Proof podcast, which is a food-related podcast. They were doing a special on what does food taste like in space. And they reached out to me as their futurist because I have a giant library I've written about brands in space. So I talked to them about what brands have done with food in space and what the future of food in space could potentially be. So I am in that latest episode of America's Test Kitchen Proof. So if you're at all interested in understanding food in space, which many of us are, we're intrigued by it, right? Definitely go listen to it. It's a fantastic episode. I listened to it. I'm in it. So yeah, of course, I'm excited about it. But I listened to it with my kids and they were actually all like, oh, wow, this is so interesting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, thanks everyone for tuning into Tech Magic, where we always invite you to come for the tech, stay for the magic. I'm Lee Kebler. I'm here with the incredible Cathy Hackl. Special thanks, as always, to our producer, Lily Snyder, and to Adweek for bringing this show to you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. You can just search for Tech Magic or Cathy Hackl or myself under Lee Kebler. And until next week,